today is yet another, we have the privilege and honor of hosting a gentleman who has been the former Minister of Animal Industry and Fisheries, Minister of General Duties in the Prime Minister's Office. He has also been a Member of Parliament for Rubavu County in Rukunjiri District. He is the current Chancellor of Makerere. This is none other than Professor Mondo Kagonyera. You're very welcome to share with us what you know, such that other people can benefit, be educated, inspired by you. I'll first ask you about your background and how that has shaped who you are today. What contributed to who you are as a man today and what your experience has been?
My father was called Zechiria Kagonyera. Maybe viewers may be interested in knowing that he was among the first 4 Bachiga to be baptized in the Anglican Church in that place. So my father had 5 wives.
5 wives.
And I believe over 30 children. I can't remember the exact number.
Wow.
Our family, we are very religious, I could say. They were practicing Christianism. Well, my father died when I was still a very young boy, about 15 years old. But I remember him as a gentleman.
In what sense?
In the sense that he always minded what he did. He used to work for the government department of veterinary services. And he would spend days and weeks or even months away from home, traversing the whole of the then Kigezi district and Western Kole, vaccinating cattle, advising farmers, cattle keepers on how to look after their animals. And so he was very dedicated. But even in our village, here is a man who got along with everybody in his village. I can hardly remember him getting into any significant controversy with fellow men. Of course, he could not avoid a few misunderstandings with his wives, but certainly not
Many
with...
wives.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah,
so,
you can avoid that.
But otherwise, he really was a wonderful man, to the extent that even very many years since my father died in 1956, we are very highly regarded in the village in which we lived then.
That's good. That's very good to hear. So it tells me that you're being a social person because you're very open to knowing people and has rubbed off from your dad's character, personality.
Yes.
So tell us about your school. Did your dad pay for your school fees, or who contributed to your education, and how did that go?
As I have told you, my father died when I was still young. So up to completing primary school,
yes,
the then P8, my father was paying. But after he died, of course, I had relatives I had to appeal to pay my fees at secondary school.
yes.
But after O-level, the government, the local government of Kigezi district took over. They paid my tuition, they paid my residence, they even gave us what we used to call then boom. So after O-level, everything was taken care of by
What's
the
boom?
government. Boom was money students used to get over and above their tuition and accommodation. And this money would be used to purchase books, to purchase other necessities.
So actually, your nation cared about you.
You bet. The country did, but people must not misunderstand this. During those days, which some people call good old days, they were actually good old days for very few people, very few indeed. I can remember from the whole of Kigezi district at the then Royal College in Nairobi,
yes,
we were only about 6. So yes, the district could afford to look after us. At Makerere from Kigezi district, I think they probably nowadays ranging between 10 and 15, certainly not more than 20. Okay. So the district could afford that. But
for a few people.
For very few
How
people.
How did you qualify though? what was the qualification for the ones who received?
It's obvious you either passed and got promoted to the next class, and therefore you qualified for the bursary, or you didn't.
You call yourself a philosophical politician. Why?
I'm a philosophical politician largely because I think that my politics is guided by my views on society. You'll find that there are many people who get into politics because of the positions they may get. But even when I was a young man, I always got involved in politics to address the issues that affected my fellow students and myself, of course. For example, there was at Nairobi, there was elements of discrimination against us Africans, and we had to fight that. There were some rules in the dormitories which were not in consonance with our African culture, and we would say no. And then we had some teachers, European teachers, who had different views about our race. And we would make sure they are reminded that we are human beings.
You told me of an experience of racism where black people were not allowed in hotels, like to enter and eat in a restaurant.
Yeah, it was amazing when we went to Nairobi in the early 60s. We didn't know of discrimination in Uganda.
Yes.
I believe even at that time, if you had your money, one could go to any restaurant or hotel of one's choice and be served what they wanted. Now, when we went to Nairobi, the first incident we had, we went to a small bar on the present Moi Avenue. And this Mzungu barman could not serve us. And we wondered why. We discovered it was because he didn't think we could be served there. And we put our foot down and said, no, we'll be served because we got our money.
So this was the colonial era?
Absolutely. That was 1961.
Mama Abana, HAJAT NAMBI FARIDAH, Uganda is proud of you.